Alright, today we got something quite different. A Cobalt. These are notorious for rocker rot. This one isn't even that horrible. So it was a little fix up we were doing for a bud. So we'll take you through the steps of replacing rockers on a Cobalt. So this one's relatively solid, but it's about to just do its rust thing. And it's got a sweet dent here, but I don't figure that's the main concern. So here we go. With it cut off, and we've gone through and ground down all the outer bit of the bottom of the pinch weld, so you can see like the spot welds there. So you got to take off that whole lip because it's all rusted. Get it down to nice clean metal, and then you got to start working on ideally cleaning this up the best you can. So we've knocked it down a bunch and put on some of the rust converter. Before we get our rocker on, we would paint the inside of this. So we're starting to make some gains. I still got to do some more cuts and start to fit my panel before I go further and carry on.
Okay, so with the old rocker panel cut out and out of the way, and all the rust from inside knocked out, I got the new rocker panel trimmed to be, as you can see, that's where I cut it, trimmed to be higher than where I cut it. Then I'm going to go with the flange tool all along the length of the rocker panel so that I can tuck it in under the factory rocker panel. That just makes it a lot easier to weld, and then you don't have to cut a perfect line to match up with it. You just kind of rough it out a little bigger. But yeah, as you can see inside there, everything's been wire wheeled and sprayed with a rust converter. It still has to be painted, but gotta let the converter do its work. So the next step, pull the new rocker panel back off and flanger. Okay, now on to flanging. Basically, this is a flange tool. Now when you pull the trigger, it clamps down. And if you see, this is like a little step in it, so it makes a nice flange on the sheet metal. Basically, like that, preferably without a step in it. There you go, the whole length of the rocker has been flanged. This is one of those tools you think, you know what, why would I need it? But for the $20 that it was from Princess Auto, the Canadian Harbor Freight, very much worth it. Alright, so it's flanged, it's trimmed, and I cleaned up the edge where I'm going to weld. And basically, you can see what I mean, how it crimps that down so that this will then be flush with this once this is pulled out far enough. And it needs a lot less trimming and being careful to get everything perfect.
After a few on and offs, I've got my car side all prepped. The paint on and the weld through along the bottom. And then my rocker, this is the top of it that goes towards the door. It slips under the original rocker. So this also has the galvanized weld through primer on it. And then my inside's all been sprayed as well with the galvanized primer. There you are. I am about ready to weld. So what I'm dealing with here is a little bit of a gap between them. So with the magnet and a little bit of pressure on there, I'll be able to tack them tight and then it will really pull it along. The spots in the front where I drop flanged for some reason have gone hella sunk on me. So again, like that, then I can tack and then it's right where I need it to be. As you can see, I got a good gap at the back and my magnet does not have the horsepower to pull this out. So I'm gonna weld a little bolt there so I can pull on it and then tack along there. There we go. I might even leave this on. Like, it'd be sweet for just cruising. So now I'm attached. Let me see, so see my gap. Nice. So I only did spots where it was sitting flush enough on the pinch weld underneath, and then I'll have to re-clamp. You probably can't tell, but see, it's not tight enough there to it, so you don't really want a gap. So now I'll just reconfigure my clamps and then I can carry on. Got all the driver rocker welded on, all the pinch welds, and then we ground down the access so they're level. We also cleaned up the inside with a wire wheel just to kind of slow down the rest of the decay on the car. So this will get sprayed with a rubberized gravel guard.
She's coming together. So I got all the welds ground down. I put the first coat of filler on here. It's probably gonna take two just because there was a bit of a ridge where the welds were. But yeah, after she dries, we'll hit her with a DA and some 80 grit just to knock her down quick. And probably one more coat. And Jesse's side, I think, is ready for filler. He's got it ground down and then went over the rocker panel with the DA just to scuff it up, give the filler a chance to stick. Now as for the filler we use, Rage, because every time we use Bondo we just ended up raging,
Yeah.
After you use real body filler, you'll never go back to Bondo. The stuff applies so much smoother, and it's unbelievable how well it sands. Like, it does not clog the sandpaper. It's worth the double the price of Bondo.
Yeah.
And it is double the price of Bondo. At least.
Oh, yeah.
You gonna do a mixing demonstration?
Yeah, I'll show y'all some fucking mixing, man. First, I take my lid off.
Yeah.
Then, I get my substance on my substance rods.
Those are made by Subi Savers, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just the leftover bits of them.
So this stuff's like so runny that you almost have to scoop it like soup.
Yeah, this is not what you want to use if you're trying to fill big holes with body filler.
Yeah.
You want the fiber strand for that.
Get off my excess substance here.
Okay.
Then we add in the blue goo. Just gotta knead it, because I need it right now. That should be more than enough. Maybe too much.
That's gonna dry quickly.
Yeah. It's because we're about to go for lunch, so we're just doing a hyper mix.
That's the thing, if you're in a rush, just add a lot of hardener, because it'll mix before you even apply it.
Yeah.
Or it'll harden before you even apply it. Something I'm usually good for, like I'll add too much hardener, get half of it on the car, then it starts drying, and I'm like, great, now it's garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to mix it good so there's no like stripes or anything, it's just all one smooth color.
You can tell by how blue this is, it's gonna go quick, so I'm gonna put some on.
Yeah. You gotta really push hard and get it in the
crevasses.
Crevasses, yeah. Normally I would say like put as little as you can because it's hard to sand, but with this stuff, just fucking glob it on there. We're back, rocker guard's all dried up, it's the next morning. So now we're gonna get the silver on this, and after we get the silver, then we're gonna move into the inner rocker and do some of the rubberized gravel guard on this, which is not paintable, but it does a really good job of keeping rust back because it's quite oily, but the inside's all cleaned up as well. This side we ran out of the beige rocker guard, so it was black, and then we just went over it with some primer so it brightens it up a bit so that we can get our silver paint on easier. Okay, we got the
inside done with the gravel guard to help try and preserve it. And then we did a drop line on the tape so it didn't get onto the paint. And that should be about it. Alright, here is the last step in our rocker preservation efforts. So we got this ProTech rust proofing gun. It comes with a couple basic wands. We bought a super duper wand kit as well. We're actually going to use the additional wands, but our crown rust proofing spray. So I'll probably start with like 1/4 liter. Because all we got to do is blast in the rockers. And see how she goes. Right, we're back at the Cobalt. So this little wand here, let me just get the camera to stay. We will get it in there. Then we'll hook our gun on it and spray and pull. And then the other way, make sure we're still spraying stuff. Oh yeah, sweet. Oh yeah. Then same thing on the back here. And then towards the back, she's crowned, bro.